Really, if I wasn't making any money off Instagram, I wouldn't post pictures all day.
You can't sit in 2 chairs at one time. If I'm thinking that's gonna work, then I think it's gonna work.
YouTubers, they hit us up all the time. Their clips don't go viral unless it's seated on the blogs. And then it looks like it's viral.
You can keep being around these people all day long, but are they gonna need you for something? Or it was just like you just was there one day?
Someone's putting ads behind it and it's got 1 million views. Would it make sense if you've never seen it on the internet?
You heard it here first. Matt Management on how to be an artist in 2026. Appreciate you for pulling up. Yo, it's YEAWAVE, and you are now tuned in to The Frequency. This is the inaugural episode, first episode. We got a special guest in the building. My guy, Matt Management, is here. Appreciate you for pulling up, bro.
Appreciate you for having me as the number one. First one in, first one out. Let's get this right.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I was watching some of like your other interviews. I feel like a lot of people be having you as like the first ball. Like I watched 2. It was like the A&R joint, and then it was another one. But he was like, "It's the first episode." I'm like, "Yeah, this gonna be the first one." But I just feel like that speak to you. That speak to you being like thorough, real. Like people could reach out, like, "Yo, I want to, you know what I'm saying, interview you. I want to talk to you, gain some knowledge from you. Just pick your brain about some shit." And you like, "All right, yeah, let's do it. Pull up." So shout out to you for that. I appreciate you for pulling up seriously, because this is something that I wanted to start and just do like my own kind of solo interview style content. It's something I started doing back at St. John's, honestly, like just on a one-on-one interview tip with different people. I was bringing in creators, or I spoke to different artists like rappers and stuff, but a lot of it was being in charge of the radio station. So, it was just perks and stuff that came with that. But it was actually my man Naps right here. He sparked this idea in my head because we was kind of going back and forth over podcasts, because me and my other friends, we do a podcast. But it's just like some fun. We be just kicking it. Like it ain't nothing like super serious or intellectual, but that is a very prominent side of me. Like everything is not always just jokes. Like I like to lock in. I like to, let's talk about something that is going to advance somebody's understanding of something. So, but I'm hearing clips and all people saying, podcasts is just like podcasts is be bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Like it ain't really nothing, no game that's being passed on a lot of these platforms. A lot of them they just be saying anything. But I felt like that was sticking with me. And I'm like, okay, I need to also do something to showcase that and to have a platform where I'm doing content where it could be meaningful, where it could be some type of knowledge being passed, something that somebody watching this is going to get something from it, be able to apply it to whatever they doing. I think the entertainment shit is valuable too, like, because everybody want to laugh, everybody want to have a good time, but I think that this is just as important. So that's kind of what The Frequency is based off of. The name of the show, The Frequency, is because everything to me is frequency, and frequency is like the culmination of what you're thinking, of how you're feeling, what actions you taking, like what vibration you're on. All of that shit is encompassed in frequency. And I'm somebody who is deep on this content creation journey on just like the internet and YouTube and videos, and you know what I mean? Like I'm in that heavy. And so that's the frequency that I'm on. And that is kind of, I'm still growing in that frequency, and that frequency still compounding and getting bigger and turning into more and more shit. So I'm trying to speak to people that are also kind of on that frequency. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the origins of the show. That's the nature of the people who I want to speak with. Like you're somebody with a long resume in the music industry. I told you that I started kind of in radio. So that's the background of that essentially is music. And so I'm heavy into music as well. So that's something that aligns. Our paths kind of align, and we're interested in similar things. So that is kind of what I wanted to bring you here today to talk about, and just get people a little bit more of an introduction, because this is, like I said, the first episode. So that is the origins. That's the basis. That is what The Frequency is all about. But today we got a good one lined up. I'm excited for this one. My guy, Matt Management, Jersey native. So Jersey, we in the building. From Patterson, New Jersey, right?
For sure. Born and raised in Patterson. We're out in Franklin and Somerset now. So, but yeah, I appreciate you having me on here. Appreciate The Frequency, and let's get into it.
All right, bet. Nah, no doubt. So
you've been doing your research?
Yeah, I done watched videos. I took notes. So I got some shit. So, but I kind of want to go back to the beginning, because like I said, frequency is something that compounds. So you being who you are today, that didn't start today. That didn't start yesterday. You know what I mean? Like it's a long journey in order to get there and to be where you at today. So I kind of want to take it back to the origins and stuff. Like, where was music introduced, and who were some of the people that you grew up listening to, and who was your favorites when you was coming up?
So, as a kid, I kind of got introduced from my dad and my cousins. I had a, close older cousin that lived with us because, family issues and stuff. But, that really developed me into music. I used to run downstairs, ask them to burn CDs. But the first artist was really Outkast.
Okay.
And that's not an artist, that's a group.
Yeah.
But it was a collective, and they were having fun with it at the time.
Facts.
I feel like, no one was really shooting videos or content on that type of, aesthetic. And then that kind of what opened me up to the industry. And, I went on to the 50 Cents, the Rick Rosses, the Eminems, everything in the core. But I was the same kid who used to run around and chase those hot, 105.1 trucks, the hot 97 trucks. So before there was marketing for artists, they used to run out and there was, guerrilla warfare marketing.
Right.
Where there were street teams. They would get posters out, flyers out, CDs of who's up next or whatever the labels pumped into to promote the artists. And, that was marketing back then. And I was the same kid who used to be, chubby, running down the block, trying to catch it before everyone else took everything that was there. And I was the last one running out because my mom didn't want me to just, run around everywhere at a young age. But luckily I had an older neighbor as well too. So whenever he would grab one, he would grab me one as well. He would give me extra of his BlackBerry. What was it? Not the BlackBerry, the Motorola ones. What's the ones?
Oh, the Razor?
No, the ones beep with the.
Oh, the chirp?
Yeah, the chirps. So he used to give me the chirps and download a bunch of music on it for me. And I used to just take those to school and listen to ringtones all day and just
word.
But, there's not many people who grew up in that era who, I'm from Patterson. Listening to Fetty Wap's era, from his first show out in, the football field out in Patterson with the mayor and, watching that whole, you couldn't be outside for less than 5 minutes without a car passing and they're playing Fetty Wap. So
when was that? That was like 2016 or 2015? What?
I think a little bit earlier than that.
Okay.
I'm not too sure on the date, but around then.
Yeah.
And 2016, I think. But no, maybe no. A little bit earlier, to be honest. But
so that's kind of like when it popped off for everybody. So that's like when we got wind of it. But I'm sure up there he was making noise way before the rest of us heard it.
Yeah, for sure. So it was just like, we got the same birthday too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
that's hard.
It's just like, seeing someone come out of where you're from at that time. And, I was never really the absolute best at sports. I can play, JV teams and stuff like that and compete, But it's like I used to lock myself in the room on New Year's Eve, and instead of me waiting for the ball to drop, I used to listen to what was the #1 song on the year on the radio countdown. So I was, but I never knew. I just thought there wasn't a space for me in the music industry because I didn't know how to rap or become an artist.
Right.
So I was, trying to write down feelings or shit I was rapping about, but in the beginning it was like just shit I was going through in school. And then one day my dad found something I was trying to rap to, and he thought it was like a depressing note. Sat there, had a conversation with me, and that wasn't my thing. I just didn't want to do that. I would always want to keep private and not have everyone know what I was knowledgeable about.
Yeah.
To be honest.
No, I feel that, and that's funny that you said that. It's kind of like a similarity. Like you talk about going, not being like the best athlete. Like I was the same way, JV on the basketball team, and then you end up getting cut. So it was like, all right, basketball over. But music for me I was into music. I mean, it probably started at the same time, like music and basketball, but like just being around the music industry, like being around music videos, like that was something that started with me early. And when you talk about like kids when they between 0 and 7, that's when you're most impressionable, and that's when you kind of are like forming into who you are eventually going to be, like what you don't like. But I'm seeing rappers, like that is what I'm seeing. Like my little brother's dad was closely associated with Rough Riders. So I'm seeing him in doing a song with Jadakiss. I'm seeing I'm seeing songs with Akon. Like I'm seeing the Rough Riders tapes. I got all of them. I'm seeing him downstairs. It's a Jay-Z song on, but he like rapping over. It's not the instrumental. It's the real song, but he rapping a full 16 over that. So like that's the shit that I'm seeing when I'm younger. So like the music just naturally, it kind of evolved into me doing it from being in the music videos when I was younger. And like the funniest thing is I used to not even like that shit. Like I didn't, not that I didn't like it. I didn't like what was coming with it from the people who were my age and that lived in my neighborhood that had no idea what was going on. So then they see me, we outside up the street at the basketball court shooting videos and stuff. But I skipped school that day. So like all the kids, the bus will ride by, they driving home, they all get out, and then as soon as they get off the bus, they come in and run over there. Like I ain't even really want a lot of that attention from shit like that. But that was just my background. That's kind of where it started. And you know, I was always writing. Like I remember being a young boy with Lil Red flip book or whatever, and I used to be writing in there. I was writing to like Nas instrumentals and stuff. But it started real early, and then it just progressed, and it never really stopped. And you know,
you ever went in the studio?
Oh, all the time. That was kind of so before this whole like I'm doing a lot of content shit now, and I put like music on the back burner a little bit. But when I was at St. John's and stuff, like our concerts, me interviewing them started from I'm opening the concert up, and I'm like, they just want me to do that, or I win a contest and now I get to do that, and I have those relationships where I'm close enough to them and be like, well, you might as well just let me interview them. Like I'm gonna be doing all of this, I might as well get into that media bag too, because I'm still doing that while I'm in school. But I'll be in the studio all the time, like from 2020 to 2023, 2024. It was like I was more focused on music than any type of content. Like I kind of wish that it was the opposite, because I realized later, like you need TikTok, you need to be doing all of that to even be an artist now. But I kind of was just heavy on the music. I just want to rap. You know what I mean? Like I just want to bar everybody to death. I don't care about making those songs or whatever. I'm just rapping. But yeah, no, hell yeah. I've been in the studio more times than I could count. For real. But nah, I want to go back to you and your origins a little bit before music. You were saying, I heard on another podcast that you did, you were saying how you started off kind of in the reselling game, sneaker reselling and shit like that. And you were saying how you was using Instagram almost as like a business way back 20 whatever 14 or whenever it was. And that's kind of, now we see Instagram is just like a marketplace. Instagram is like a store damn near, but everybody was just posting pictures and shit back then. Like it might not even been no videos on Instagram. That was a long time ago. So kind of talk about where your mindset was at to be able to even have that thought process of like, well, I'm gonna use my shit like this.
Really, if I wasn't making any money off Instagram, I wouldn't post pictures all day.
Right.
And that's always been me. But at junior year, sophomore year of high school, my dad said, we're not paying for your haircuts anymore. So it started just me trying to make a couple of dollars to go get a haircut to look presentable to go to school.
Yep.
So I used to have shoes in my locker. I used to bring shoes with me to class.
Oh shit, in the lockers. Locker is crazy.
Pull up with a book, no book bag, no books, 2 pairs of shoes to class. And I used to get threatened to get kicked out of class from the teacher.
Yeah.
Because I used to ask for the bathroom pass and go sell some shoes mid-class, come back with no sneakers, and they're like, what's going on?
Yeah,
and,
what you doing?
I was making a couple, hundreds of dollars a week, and I got with one of the biggest promoters in the sneaker business, had a sneaker store, partnered with somebody in Franklin, and we had one right in Hamilton Street. Eventually it ended up getting broken into, and the store ended up falling apart. But, that's what my love came out of. Like, growing up, listening to the, hip hop and everything, fashion is just as important.
Yep.
So when the sneaker market died and I dropped out of I dropped out of college. I'm sorry. Dropped out of college, and, I just didn't want to, the same. All right. So the same fan base is in sneakers as what it is in the music industry, and they collide so much. So I started booking artists, right? We were doing showcases or, the same stuff that you were opening for, shows like that.
Yep.
Because I still didn't think there was room for me in the music industry, aside from putting stuff together like how I used to put sneakers events together. And we booked G Herbo, Don Q.
Oh shit.
We almost booked Uzi at the time, but he had a crazy rider. Like it was gonna be an extra 8 to 10K just the shit that he wanted in red Solo cups, gummies.
That's crazy.
Only grape juice or only Capri Suns.
Yeah,
And
stupid shit.
yeah, but I learned and worked my way into an industry there and started grabbing artists and getting them to perform and build their fan base. And then I realized that was the wrong way to do it.
Why was that?
I feel like that's just a gateway for promoters to really make a couple dollars. It's
Okay.
really useless unless you're going there with a cameraman and repurposing that content or spending $2,500 to $3,000 after you perform to seed it into the blogs. I've never or haven't seen anyone in a while get signed because they opened up for someone at a show.
Right.
Of course, you could build relationships, and if you have the money to invest and you have the free time to invest like that. But if you're on crunch time and you don't got mommy and daddy money and you don't have label money, you don't have distribution money, then you have to do what makes sense. And what makes sense is doing the free work so the paid stuff can work. And if you're not posting, like you said, you got every other outlet to use now. So it's like you're never running out of stuff to do.
That's a fact.
But if you're not doing those stuff, the paid stuff really isn't gonna work all the time.
Okay. Yeah. So you took that, kind of almost kicked another door down. It's like, all right, now I'm gonna transition into this music shit, into throwing the show. So what kind of took you out of, all right, we doing shows now, and kind of took you into, was it first like looking for artists and like now I'm trying to manage, or what was
there's too much liability in doing the shows. Someone
Right,
can get
yeah.
into a fight. Someone can bring a gun into it and have their own issues. And I wanted safety and security for the people I was working around in the music industry. And, I didn't want my name attached to that in the first, couple steps I'm getting in.
Nah, that's a fact. I mean, I just seen in the documentary, the Diddy documentary, you just seen how that was the same thing. He was like, I'm throwing shows, he's doing shows, and it was like the first big incident, and how everybody even got to know his name was because a whole bunch of people died at the show. Like, so shit like that, liability and shit, that's nothing to play around with. So once you did kind of realize that and come to with that, who was the artist, or what relationships did you develop to be able to pivot?
Relationship wise was I went out to LA.
Oh, okay.
I took a little break after that, and I had a lot of my close artists pass away, get locked up, and at one point it was just me by myself. Everyone who I was close to was either in jail or dead or dealing with their own stuff, and the community I once was sleeping with every night at the studio to try to make the dream come true, I was left by myself. And some of it was like, I felt upset or felt some type of way like, damn, everybody just left me to do, the shit by myself. But, you had to push through it. I have family and shit I gotta pay for. I got a life I wanna live, and, I got a big name that I put up for myself at a young age. And I don't like to, let that shit down. It motivates me every day, regardless.
So what was LA like?
I I got out of rehab.
Oh, okay.
I went straight to LA. Not for no hard drugs, but I was popping perks here and there, doing stuff that everything we thought was cool to do in the music industry back then.
Right.
And I realized that and just wanted to get away. After I did that for 2 months, I had a partner and named Ahmad, a partner named Joey, who brought me over to their mansion in Anaheim for a couple of weeks, or I think it was a month or something. And, they changed my perspective. It was the total opposite of what you saw in the music industry, and they were making more money than everyone I ever seen in the music industry.
So what was they doing?
Digital marketing.
Digital marketing. So this is where the digital marketing starts. That kind of sparked it. You saw something different. So then is it like, all right, I'm kind of helping them with day stuff?
I wasn't really hands-on with them, but they were using me for narratives and campaigns. And when I mean using me, like, letting me be a part of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And, I didn't realize what I was, helping with or what I was good at the time. And, I kind of did ask them every time, give me every blog page and I promise I'm going to go home and make money and get the car and get the artists. And, it's stuff that they worked hard for. And I like that they didn't just hand it over to me, but they gave me the foundation. I went home and kicked ass and
Got to work.
Yeah, they gave me the motivation. Um, the next month COVID happened.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Around that time.
that's when the app Clubhouse opened, and that first month was kind of my door open where I made 80,000 in a year
Off digital marketing.
Off consulting and digital marketing, and I've never in my life seen that type of money.
Yeah.
And that was just the motivation I needed.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough right there.
Your mom and dad always tell you, get a job, get something that's gonna pay you, get a job. But the one thing I did was I put every single dollar back into my brand, my name, traveling, and not everyone understood it in the beginning. But one of my partners, Nico here, he could tell you, any state I go into, regardless of where we're at, what time we land, I'll have someone there to look out for us, whatever we need, and make sure we're in good hands. And they treat me with family, just like I was. You feel me? Someone I'm chilling with every day. And 99% of the time, they treat me a lot better than some people I chill with every day.
Right.
Because a lot of people just hang out with me for stuff I bring to the table, or them not wanting to burn the bridge because they can't come to certain events or they can't be around certain stuff. And, I peep that every day, but it's something that, you just gotta play your hand that's dope.
That's the thing though. I feel like a lot of times it's the almost like a respect type of thing. And you don't even look at it like that because it'd be like your friends or people that you close to or whoever. So you're not really looking at it as you disrespected me. And now if you go into working or whatever type of relationship you have, and it's somebody that hasn't been your friend forever, it's like there's just going to be certain things that they're not going to do, or they don't feel the leisure to be able to do these type of things that people that are close to you kind of feel like, because y'all boys. So it's kind of like a fine line that you walk with that. But I kind of want to bring it back to something that you said, because you were saying how you invested everything back. Everything goes back into it. Everything goes back into it. And that is something that's like, I feel like that's a hard thing for people to understand, or a concept that's hard for people to grasp. Because it's like what you're saying, or, once you want something for security, or I want, to make sure that I'm making the right decision, or this and this and that. But it's like, I think of it as you can't sit in two chairs at one time. So if you're not putting everything into this, it's like, I feel the same way, whether it's about the content, whether it's about like the music, whether it's just about be creating in general and building up an online presence in general. It's like everything has to go back into that. You can't even be worried about, I'm gonna just have this just in case. Cause it was like, in my head, if I'm thinking that this is gonna work, if I'm thinking that's gonna work, then I think it's gonna work. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not even thinking about the other shit.
Imagine you don't know anything else that you're good at.
Yeah.
I didn't know what else to put the money into. I didn't have anything else that I've ever seen put money into besides, the sneaker market's dead. There's zero margin in there. You can't make a living really unless you have, people who take out loans to start their business, or they dump a bunch of credit card money. You don't got any other choice. What other, got to dump all money in. I didn't see, I was like a horse with blinders. I didn't see any other option. I saw zero options, so I just, stuck with it. What would you do? You feel me?
I get it.
Situation,
and especially if now I'm starting to see something work. It's like that would just be stupid to go away from that. You know what I mean? Like, you got to.
Done proving my parents wrong that I was, wasting time or wasting their time, that they let me stay in their house, their dwelling. When not that I look down on people who are staying with their parents and stuff. It's a stepping stone. But it's also a privilege.
Yeah.
Not everyone's blessed to be able to do that. And I was paying rent and doing certain stuff. And without that and, those stipulations that I had to come home and put money up, why would I be grinding? So as mad as I was at them in the beginning, if I didn't have those small little, hard, tough love, as they call it,
yep,
I wouldn't have anything to grind for.
That's a fact. So now you in the digital marketing space. Are you seeing that that's working? What were you doing initially that was actually showing you like, oh, this could be something?
My theory was I want to grab an artist in a different state. Every time I grabbed an artist in a different state, I would grab that retention from that state and that following. So as long as I developed them a little bit, not that every artist I brought to the table had a deal in front of their face, regardless if they took it or not. whether it be from 50,000 to 900,000. Regardless if they thought it was the right time, or I don't think I should sign this, or it's too early. Every artist it's not a cookie cutter, situation.
Right.
Every artist is different based on where they're at, analytics, and once I started getting that following from each different state after signing artists here and there, I was running around with Skinny from the Nine, right?
Yeah.
So that was a little bit. I know you said you want to bring that up before, but we'll cut to it. I ran with. He's like it's like long distance family. You feel me?
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
we might not see eye to eye at every situation, or we might not want to be, buddy right next to each other, but we got mutual respect from the business that we've done, and the shit we've been through regardless. So he gave me the first opportunity to really run around and see what it's like managing an artist. So, timing, booking music videos, booking features, reaching out. So at the same time I was being Matt management, we were stepping in and, learning to just curate and being behind the scenes, seeing what that's like, and actually doing it on a day-to-day basis. And then, we fell out for certain situations. We went our own way. And I kept doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
And, now, I'm known for, everything else I did after. But, Lil RT was probably the biggest break we had, of course.
So can you, all right, because the Skinny thing, that's actually, I had to learn that from just like, like I was saying, doing my research or watching different videos and stuff, but I never even knew that. But just it makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Everybody being from Jersey and all that type of stuff. But as far as that relationship went, what do you think is, like, what was the takeaway going? I know it maybe didn't end like, the way the most optimal way, but even I'm sure there's a learning lesson in everything. So could you just give like one or the most important or the biggest, most pivotal type of thing that you took away from that situation, and like how you started applying that to the future relationships?
One is how to move in certain situations, moving around with a big artist who had a target on his back at one point.
Yeah.
You can't open the door and just move like every random, and how militant you have to move in certain situations, how to act in certain studio situations around certain people. But yeah, that was probably the biggest, just the personality side. It's just you don't have to agree with everything and everybody and everything that goes on in the music industry, but you never know what happens every day, bro. Especially when you get into that artist spot where you're making money and recording and people know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's a totally different ball game.
That was a wild little era though, because I ain't gonna lie, he had like a run, and so that is, I'm not gonna say that's your doing, but like I feel like it was.
Nah, I came in after. I was just.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't working with him before he blew up. We just had mutual friends in the situation where, at one point he had a down moment, and he might have needed a couple extra hands around the situation.
Got you.
And I was just there already, and I was chasing the same thing. One day, I think he gave me like a client to call, and he posted on my Instagram story, and we ran up like 2,000, 3,000 in a day, and he was like, "Fuck, what the hell, Matt's making music money, and without me having to hold the crutch or have to spoon feed it to him.
Yeah.
Fuck it, just come in.
Might as well be a part of what we got going on.
We don't have to babysit you or spoon feed you. So fuck it, just do what you do, and everyone be an asset to the situation.
Nah, for sure. All right. Speaking of babysit, so now it's a little bit of a pivot. But so now you go from that situation. I'm sure this was not right after that, but kind of what you were alluding to before, maybe the biggest pop or most notable of recent, the Lil RT situation. And even so, when I first met you, we was at the office. What's that in, like Brunswick or whatever?
Yeah. Brunswick.
So we was over there, and that was when you first told me that for the first time. Like, I was a big piece in that whole situation. But I didn't know, so I was watching the no jumper shot. I was watching that. And then because I had no idea about the kind of the aftermath or kind of what happened towards the end of the situation. But that whole thing is crazy. We could get into like the aftermath later. But how did you find Lil RT?
Shit off TikTok. Oh no, I'm lying. I found him on a what's that blog page? Because I want to give them their credit, bro. Yo, what's the blog page Joey owns from Alamo? Daily Chiefers.
Daily Chiefs. I followed him.
I
followed him.
Daily Chiefers, not TikTok.
Yeah.
I found him on Daily Chiefers, and the post was going viral. Everyone was trolling about, damn, the kid's fired. The kid's
He was rapping?
He had a 30-second snippet of just one little freestyle.
Yeah.
And I reached out to kind of everybody who I was associated with at the time. And everyone told me, bro, we're not signing him. He's a kid. It's not gonna go. He never been in the studio, never made a song, his Instagram page had 200 followers.
Damn.
And nothing. But ended up reaching out to his mom, and I said, listen, this is either gonna go my way or, the highway on the situation. And she gave me the trust, in the situation in the beginning, and we took it to the moon. I had a partner named Beretta who was helping me on the distro side and the uploads, and we hit every major platform within the first week, I say.
That's the part that I thought was impressive, because even hearing you talk about it, it's like it's way more calculated and orchestrated than you just swiping and you not really thinking nothing of it. But like that takes something to do that, to get you on the Trash Mag, to get you here with. Was he already with Lil
Four Shooters
with that one, the performances, all of that? Yeah, with Lil Tony was like, so all of that is orchestrated, right?
Everyone said, Lil Tony managed the situation. Tony was a big part and a big help. But how he got in tune with Lil Tony is because I paid Lil Tony's A&R, Lonnie, $100 for a story post the day the song dropped, or we were rolling him out.
Yeah.
And, Tony fucked with him. Bro, God's doing, they were walking and going to the corner store, RT and his mom, and Lil Tony happened to be at that corner store that same next day or the 2 days after we dropped the song.
Crazy.
And Tony kind of, gave a big brother feeling to him and gave him $100 back, the 100 I spent on the story. Said, yo, little bro, here's 100. And said, can I take you to the studio later?
Fire.
And that's when he, played his role and really gave him some of the biggest hits that he had.
Yeah.
Aside from 60 Miles, but which showed, the longevity and the stuff. But I can't really talk about all the ending.
Yeah.
I could talk about the beginning, but he was a key part, but it was just another part of the marketing strategy. The youngins, Lil Tony had him in a chokehold, and that's who I wanted the fan base to be around the day of the drop. And I feel like he had the biggest push out of the developing artists who, was gonna answer and who I couldn't reach or didn't make sense at the time.
But that's even crazy. So that them kind of walking up on each other and crossing paths.
That's God's.
That's you don't have nothing to do with. That's crazy to even like how that could even come about like that is wild.
All I did was pay for a story post.
That's wild. And because then it, like you said, everybody was kind of thinking, oh, this is Lil Artist, this is new, whatever. But so
it takes a good manager to sit back and play the role and let that shit fly.
Yeah.
And not just want to, I did it. And, the only reason I announced myself and I was working with the project is because our first Instagram page died. And
his Instagram, one of his,
Lil
okay.
The first page we did got deleted. And, because of the age, wasn't full aware of the restrictions. So it got taken down. And then I needed all the help I can to really pump that other page up. And that shit went nuts. Doughboy hopped on the feature. Shout out Doughboy. And just really spoke up for him in the community and gave him that extra voice and backing. Like, regardless of, who he is and where he's from, you have to let the kid be himself. It's not something that we're spoon feeding. It's no one made the song for him. No one wrote the song for him. The kid did the song himself. Got to give him the flowers.
Y'all was even on No Jumper. Like, I mean, you've been through No Jumper like a couple times, right? Like that's you got like relationships with people over there. Like how you
Yeah,
get
it's
to
cool. My boy Remo, Flacco, and Adam always gives them the green light to allow us to be in his dwelling as well. And I always appreciate them. There's someone I look up to. I would say, without academics, without Adam 22, and there's
Sean
damn,
Cotton?
I never really watched Sean Collins.
Okay.
Not that I don't respect the platform.
Yeah.
I fuck with Save Cheese. It was something that I got more as I got into the marketing side. But when I dropped out of college, I watched academics, No Jumper, and
Oh, you talk about like what you was tuned
Mhm.
into. Okay, yeah.
And that's if it wasn't really for them, and there's maybe someone else I remember during the interview. But that's what really got me into it. Is
Yeah.
the everyday struggle with Joe
Yeah.
Budden and all that. Like it made me, it brought light to the behind the scenes, and that was the first time people actually talked about rollouts or or campaigns and stuff you could actually moving the needles behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And I like that, and it gave me the urge to want to coach.
We was even talking about that though, like just about that show, about the importance of that show. I was saying I feel like that show was like a little bit ahead of its time, but it really it put a whole bunch of people on the complex. I feel like that was like almost like a resurgence for them. Like almost everything that they doing now. I'm not gonna say everything that they doing now, but it's like they took that initial catapult and it was like they just never stopped. Like, you know what I mean? So, but they could give a lot of credit to that show. I feel like that show was super, super important. I used to watch that. That was like when I was in high school still, but I would be in study hall, whatever, pull up YouTube on my phone. I'm watching. I was heavy on that. I think that's like missing right now, especially when you watch like First Take or like, you know what I mean, whatever. Everybody doing like the sports podcast now, and they're kind of doing that debate style thing. I'll go up like every month. I'll go to New York and shoot for House of Highlights, and so it's like an argumentative style debate type shit. But me and one of the other bulls that was up there, we was like, yo, what they should do is do like every morning type of thing where it's not even necessarily like we like debating on a certain topic, but every morning off of the sports or off who won last night or whatever the storyline is, they should have a show like that. I'm like, that's a good ass idea. I don't know why they don't do that already. Even if it ain't with nobody that, what I'm saying, we was up there with, that's something that they should be doing. They should be capitalizing off of that. And that was the reason why people like Everyday Struggle, because it was keep dropping. So whatever was going on, whatever was happening, you knew it was going to be these two personalities and they got something to say about them. And it was tough because it was like the young generation versus the old generation. So you was kind of seeing like how the different ages thought about different topics when it came to hip hop and shit. But that show is, I'm sure they get their flowers and their props, but that show was like I feel like a big piece of why content is the way that content is today, and kind of like what people think about it.
I feel like how companies sign talent to do podcasts, because you could always just go grab a regular radio host, but you really got to go out and find the people who are moving the culture, that actually matter to make the move,
right,
the podcast matter.
Because you can see that even when it was Ack and Joe up there, it was like fire, like everything was going, and then one person leave, and now it's like, well, the show ain't really hitting on what it used to hit. Like, so that shit, that personalities and stuff, that matters. The people who really move the needle, that definitely matters. I'm gonna look. Let me look and see what else I got. All right, so now let's go to starting for the culture. Is that your number one blog, or that's just like the most prominent one?
That's say our whole real estate is just as prominent, but
okay,
it's what got me on the map.
Yeah,
I used to run around and help Rap House TV. I used to want to be in the big position at my mixtapes, and do a bunch, and everything I learned from what they do and how they orchestrate their team. I was blessed enough with the outlet to put my team on. I didn't know what I wanted to do at first. My partner Nico, that's here, he was owning a page and was helping me with the rollout of Lil RT.
Okay.
He had a lyric video page that we partnered with, and we did a post on Lil RT shit one time, and it hit, I think, 7 million views, 10 million views. which is actually the post that ended up getting our first page taken down.
Oh, because he was.
It was just the content that was on it that ended up
Got you.
getting reported, and then you know, we didn't know what we were gonna do after the RT situation, and I kind of went ghost for a little bit, and he kept hitting me up every day and was like, "Bro, what are we gonna do? You just gonna leave me stinking?" We didn't. I'm like, "Bruh, I really don't. I didn't care for like a week or so after 2 weeks, and then he's like, I had everyone down my neck because this situation. So we said fuck it one day, and I started reaching out to all the clients I was bringing other blog pages or posts to, and was doing my own thing. And not too many people were, wanted to hop on at first. Everyone was like, "Oh, just sell the page. You're never gonna make a blog page that matters. Sell the outlets, never gonna matter." And I
And
kind
why you think people was looking down? I'm not gonna say looking down, but like why you think the negative outlook?
of, you know, if it's not, I didn't have a team. They probably didn't see a team behind me.
Okay.
It's one person, and all these big outlets might have a team behind them, but it was fuck them because those are the same people who's asking me for free posts and all that shit right now.
That's how it
And,
go.
hey, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? And it's just
So is blogs the way to blow an artist up? Like the Instagram page, like that's how you do it essentially.
to make it make sense. You
Yeah.
can't have followers and streaming if it's not being repurposed on the internet and resurfaced. And you're gonna blow up somewhere else. Or you're gonna blow up, in your hometown when you are seen somewhere else. So regardless of as how many home events you do, how many times you open up for a jersey, let's say, or stuff in town or every artist in town, unless you're going to see in other people's eyes and they see you on these bigger platforms, it looks like you're doing your work, and it brings credibility to you.
Yeah.
And it makes people want to hop on the bandwagon and curate your story, and understand where you are, and they want to follow you from the beginning to the end if it's done the right way. And storytelling is a big part of music now.
Yeah.
If you don't have an interesting story and something that you can entertain people on a day-to-day basis, it's just you're posting just new music out right now, new music out right now. And guess what? That's the same way you see someone on Say Cheese or Academics that you've never seen in your life, and it's a red flag for paid promo. So they could dump thousands and thousands and thousands down these bigger outlets, but if you don't curate your digital footprint the right way, what's the point of doing it? You're just gonna look like you trying to pay your way in,
Yeah.
and that's frowned upon in the music industry.
Yeah. And I think the people can tell, honestly, like the people who you're
look like a
trying to
lick.
attract. Yeah. Yeah.
And even though it's not frowned upon that you're promoting yourself, it's just that you're doing it the wrong way. Everyone wants you feel me, the fruit of their labor so quick, but it's like, bro, to develop an artist, it takes sometimes years, sometimes months. But if you don't have a narrative, then it makes the situation a lot harder.
So I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna go into kind of 2 points because there's two things that I heard you say. You were one thing straight off the narrative point, which you kind of just talked about, but we could maybe just go a little bit deeper. You said have a narrative before you have a song. That's the first thing. The narrative at first is more important than the song is, and then number two, which kind of also relates to what we was talking about, is artists go about developing their face card the wrong way. And so those were two interesting things that I heard you say, and I kind of just wanted to get a little bit more on those topics.
Man, the same way, some artists post every day because they want to go to sleep at night and think that they're helping their situation, when there's a right way and a wrong way to develop in the music industry. The blogs, outlets, how you learn to use it is using your own money. Everyone lacks the knowledge because they choose not to spend their own money and learn step by step the same way I learned, the same way other people learn, by signing their artists, and you take those L's and you apply it to the next artist, and you fix structure every time. So it took me 4 to 5 artists to get to Lil RT.
Right.
Did I get contracts and stuff prior? Yeah, but nothing mattered until I actually, popped the artist.
Right.
But the narrative with Lil RT was the age, what he was saying, his personality, those are all different types of things. If you can find one, it's better than having none. But you have to tell everything at one time, so it feels like everything's being covered. It makes you important, makes it, If someone just posts, like I said, new music out now, you're not looking at that.
Right.
If you've never seen them before, you don't care about their new music.
That's a fact.
And that should be the last thing you want to spend your money for, because that's going to get you 100 likes, 200 likes, and no one's following you. But if you told them a cool story about how you dissing your ops because they did this to you at school and you're going to get back, and now you relate some of those topics to some of the story, regardless of if that shit's made up or not,
Yeah.
people are going to follow
It's a
that
story.
because they're going to want to see the end result of what you were doing with the storyline.
Got you.
So you can just drop a song and no one understands that song but you and the people around you, and that's not your target audience.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, that makes sense, and I feel like that's damn near like you would think that people would just think that, but it's so you see that every day where it's like I'm gonna just post my reel, and even I was doing that. Like I'm gonna just post my reel. I never once was doing like, all right, let's try to come up with something, a narrative, something that can be attached to the artist or
Because
attached to the song.
You want instant gratification when you post, and it's not a bad thing, but when you put a lot of effort into something, you want that reciprocated.
Yeah.
But you can't get instant gratification without consistency.
Right.
If you're not, where you posting every day on your Instagram, where you posting every day on your TikTok, where you posting more than one day on your TikTok, everything has a different algorithm. Everything has to be ran, it can't be ran like a cookie cutter.
Right.
So, it depends on how much they love the music industry, how much they love making music. And that's what I look for artists now. I don't sign based off a bunch of numbers and them going viral. Are you gonna be in the studio without me having to call you and say, hey, you want to go there, or you want to do this, or wait for it to be done on my dime? They should already be in the studio at least once to 2 times a week, or have, even if it's a $200 setup at home, to just record raw vocals and shoot short form content and organize that for a month or two. Now when you see something overperform, that's what you drop. That
Yeah.
means people are waiting for it.
Yep.
And if you just drop single here, single there, single there, it's cool to keep it consistent. You should do that regardless. But dropping without a purpose is pointless.
Yeah. Nah, I definitely get that. You want to talk about the tour?
Shit, yeah.
Because I'm interested in that. Because once I follow you on Instagram, so I would be seeing different city, different city
stuff, right?
Yeah,
You
it
never
ain't.
know who.
Yeah, it's different. It's different levels. It's levels to it. So you were somebody that was an active participant in the NBA YoungBoy tour. I was like, that tour broke records. That tour was like, a lot of people ain't seen nothing like that in a while, especially with him. This kind of like this first almost tour that was going around in cities, and he's selling out. It was crazy. Like you watching streamers be in the concert. Like I ain't never seen nobody stream the concert. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just different, the energy different. But talk about like how that came about. What artists were you running around with there, and what was your experience on the tour?
So I came on halfway onto the tour. So I was there maybe last 20 shows. I didn't go to every 20, but we're running around trying to make as many as we can. I was support for Mello.
Okay.
That's one of my closest female friends in the music industry. Probably not my closest. When you're going through stuff in the music industry, and sometimes you click with the right person that gives you a different perspective to keep going. And she's one motivated person. It gave me a different perspective, seeing her work ethic during the tour, and the effort and the energy that she puts into. Even when I was tired, she was there clonking her heels, running down the into the VIP, and ready to do her thing on stage. And it was a good experience to have, especially dealing with a female artist. Hair, nails.
Was that the first time you was doing
I've never had a female artist ever. So, but I was cool with her before the tour. I've been talking to her and working on strategy and posting her rollouts and curating her narrative probably for 2 years now, or maybe 3 years now. We've been close friends, just bouncing ideas off of each other, different narratives, songs. If he need help reaching out to certain people, she'll connect the dots. But it's it's good to have friends like that in the music industry.
For sure.
She's bust her ass, but I appreciate her every day for including me into that. She could have bought anyone She wanted to, and it showed that we mattered. Even though I thought, even though working and helping her for 2 years, when the tour came, I told her, "Oh, you're gonna forget about me as soon as you go on tour." And as soon as she touched down in Jersey, she waited for me before she even got in the building.
Oh, fire.
And we ran to the car, got in with her, and she said, "I need you guys on tour with us every day as motivation. It's hard doing this shit." She didn't have a big team, and we stepped in when we can, and we still helping her in the situation. But that's one of my really close friends.
Now, what's it like going from city to city and like that quick turnaround time with the travel and shit?
18-year-old me, 20-year-old me would have killed for doing that.
Right.
So I never complain about that. I spent my last couple dollars, if I had to, every single time, on traveling, whatever, on the music shit. Every single time I spend my last dollar, because I know how to get it back.
Mm-hmm.
But meeting, networking with different Tusi, Offset, D Baby, one of the coolest artists I met on tour, and his team. You met certain people, and it's all about networking, who you know at this point. Yeah. There's not so much more you can do by blowing up another artist. It's just certain people that you meet that have a certain respect for you.
I feel like the networking aspect, when you compare that to just like meeting people, that is something that I have emphasized, or especially this year, was like, all right, it's going to be different this year. Last year, I feel like 2025 is the year that I kind of was like, all right, I'm doing this content creating shit, like streaming shit, not just like, all right, I'm gonna stream here and there, but I really be rapping, but now I'm doing streaming and shit. It was like, nah, I'm locked in. It was like, I did a lot of desktop, a lot of IRL. That's how I even got introduced to the content group and everything. I'm like, oh, they on what I'm on. Bet this is a match right here. I like what y'all got going on and shit. But I feel like prior to this year and last year is included in that, I would just be meeting people. Like if I meet somebody, oh shit, what up? Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm almost just still kind of excited to even be in the spaces where it's people doing what I want to do. And I'm just like, I didn't have the elevator locked in. I didn't have, like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have the lane mapped out yet as far as like a service that I could offer somebody or things of value that I could present to them aside from, yo, what's good? I'm Wave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's real different when you have something of value, which is like now when I'm meeting people, like shout out to Flip and Flip the Network, my man Queens Flip, who do, podcasting and stuff. He a OG in the space, but meeting them and their team, and then being like, nah, I edit. Like that's my day job, is I work for the MLB and I edit all day. And then I come home and do my podcast and my shit and I edit all day. So that's what I do. So they're like, oh, for real? We looking for somebody that can make clips for us, make this. Bet. I'll send you something. You could let me know if you like it. From there, we could move forward. And so now, like every time he go do a video, send it to me and I'm clipping it for him and I'm making his short form content for him. But that's like last year, it's not that I didn't have that, because I've been working there since 2023. I've been editing, but it was just like having a lane mapped out. So when you meet these people, you have something to say, you have value, because everything is just value. You want to exchange value for value. So that's my biggest thing, because it's like networking. I met mad people last year, but I can't tell you how many connections that I actually made with people. I'm just meeting people. You know what I mean? So like it'd be different when you can meet people, you can offer them something, they might be able to offer you something. Like even like here, I'm like, yo, I do this X, Y, and Z. Like, oh, well, we might be looking for somebody to do this. We might be looking for somebody to do this. So in exchange for using this service here, I might be able to be of value in a different way. So it's like, that's my biggest thing going forward. And that was like a pivot that I had to make, because I'm like, all right, you can really lock in, because you can keep being around these people all day long, but are they going to ever remember you? Are they going to need you for something? Or it was just like you just was there one day. You know what I mean? So that was the biggest kind of change that I wanted to make and implement for this year. And so now even like I feel like I'm starting off already, like just in terms of that was one working relationship that was established this year. That wasn't something that I was doing before. I wasn't editing for nobody else, before. Mm-hmm. But so like that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing for me with this whole networking thing. But I feel like you somebody who has a crazy network, like all types of people in the music industry and in the content industry. Like I met you from over this summer. Like you was throwing the Skrilla show. Mm-hmm. So you still kind of throw like throwing shows a little bit, or it's like if it's something that's gonna be worth it, like you get into it?
I just did that to show everyone I'm back.
Okay.
Show everyone I still care about the community. 'Cause
Yeah.
I did it in my, where I graduated from high school in.
Oh, okay.
And,
That's right.
give back a little bit because a lot of people say I don't give back to Jersey. But there's not a big music scene out here because we work against each other and we don't work together. So when I peeped that after working with the skinny situation, it's just, I wanted to get out of Jersey and show, the world's way bigger.
That's a fact.
I got team in Belgium. I have a team I have a employee in India. I have an employee in the Barbados, I believe, Nico. The islands. Caribbeans, yeah. And I treat everybody the exact same and the exact way I would want to be treated when I had to do this shit myself.
Yeah. I want to go over some like little quick hitters now, just over points that I heard you say, and just kind of like what we've been doing. You said music videos are dead. I heard that in an interview, and the context of that was you going to do your music video ain't as effective as let's get 10 reels made. Let's get 15 TikToks made. Like, so kind of how did you come to that realization?
Data speaks for itself. You don't see anyone even shooting a music video now until a song catches on. Labels don't want to spend money to invest if the song's not moving a little bit on the audio or trending, or it doesn't. Of course, you need it to develop your craft. But if you don't, like I said, if you don't have thousands of dollars or hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month to spend, you don't need to do that to break or to get signed or to get a team behind you. You can paint your picture without, fucking up your face card, if that makes sense.
No, I got you.
Because a lot of artists, they'll go, hey, I just dropped my first music video and I want to do an ad campaign. Fuck the blogs. I just want my music video numbers to go up. Doesn't help. It's instant gratification.
Yeah, that don't really do nothing, right?
As soon as you get back and to the next video, if you don't do the same numbers there, you fell off.
Right. So that's where the blog comes. So you would say, let's go do these reels. Let's go do this short form, and now let's send the short forms to the blogs.
I'm big on it.
Okay.
I tell any interview I do, I'll probably say the same shit, but it's because that's what works for me. Everything they said, that you have to run ads, you have to pay for playlisting, you have to drop a bunch of music videos, or you have to be in tune with producers. RT didn't do any of that. RT blew up off zero ad spend and off blog spend and open mic performances.
Damn. Yeah. That's everybody's saying it's like the content. It's just content. You don't really got to do. People be trying to, the video got to be top dollar. We got to get the car. We got to get the chains. But
that's because they're pushing for a narrative to be carried. And everyone's doing this Instagram shit or, social media because they want to be carried on networks or blogs or whatever it is. And they think the cooler they look, the cooler and the better the chance they have of being carried on. But if they actually talked about their story and where they came from and funny topics or their personality, that gets them way further than a whole chain can.
Nah, that's a fact.
Grab the chain later on, because once you blow up, what the fuck you gonna do? You gonna go grab another chain?
Yeah.
You can't show them any development. I'd rather see that shit in the beginning. Everyone can go get a chain once they get a little bit of money. But do you have people waiting for your music to drop?
Right.
Or are you just paying? You feel me?
You think the same thing can be applied, like how you do in the music industry? You think the same thing can be applied to content creators, or not necessarily? Okay, not necessarily like rappers or artists, but if you do whatever you do, if you YouTube, if you stream, you would take the same approach in terms of, all right, I'm trying to take this to the next level.
That's the same reason streamers need clippers. YouTubers, they hit us up all the time. Their clips don't go viral unless it's seeded on the blogs. And then it looks like it's viral.
Right. Okay.
You have to fool the naked eye. Luckily, there's enough people who aren't like, us that know the difference between paid promotion and whatever we post. People still think that everything we post is, what we're finding or our personal opinion or, payola.
I realized that a while ago with because I be on Twitter a lot, so you be seeing like the fear buck or like it's certain accounts that's like they the most popping accounts in terms of like this space or what we think about in terms of like the internet or like just what's going on pop culture type shit, but for like the internet. And you'll see the post, you'll see this new artist, blah blah blah, whatever on the post, and I don't feel like it's not a widespread known thing that. No, they put that there. Like this isn't just, oh, I like this guy and I'm gonna put him there. But the whole thing, it's mad engagement on those posts, but it's like it don't really look like it. But then you'll see him again, and then you'll see him again, and then you'll see him again, and then now it's like, well, damn, now we know him, and that's really how it works. So it's like the blogs are, it's a part that is extremely pivotal in the growth of that shit. But it's like for you to be running that is like, all right. We'll post whoever, just give me X amount. Like, you know what I mean? Is it like that? Or are you filtering how you can get on here?
It depends what page.
Okay.
And it depends on, it just depends what page, to be honest. And the story that they're telling. Regardless of the money, we're not a sellout.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just going to post shit just to post shit. But if it's anything that someone put their time and effort into to develop and get them where they want to go, and they saved up enough money to invest in their career, I'll never knock anybody. I don't care if it's $100. I don't care if it's $75. You know, it takes someone who wants to be serious to break that threshold and be like, damn, I have to invest in myself, because everyone thinks they're too cool and they deserve free posts. And those are the people I love telling no.
Do y'all answer though? Because when you go to hit up one of these blogs, like you'll go DM like, yo, can I get some whatever? Can I get some promo? And then nobody hit you back. Like, it's mad blogs. It's bad blogs. That's the difference
between us and everyone else, which sometimes bites us in the ass, because rappers hit us up talking about, damn, you money hungry because you hit me back. All right, but if we didn't hit you back, we're gatekeepers, right?
Yeah, then it'd be, y'all fake, y'all don't respond back. Yeah.
But I have a big enough team where we're able to get back to everybody, and turnaround time is good. We try to, keep it within 24, 48 hours. We're regular people. We have regular lives. I might be in a different state or a city on a flight or on the way to New York to the office. You never know. So, but we have pretty good customers, clients, and people who's been with us for a very long time. And, we like to keep it like that.
These blogs are not owned by labels, right? Or are some of them? Or do you work in close proximity with labels to be like, yo?
They're our clients. They're our best clients.
Got you.
But, I can't speak for every blog page, but a lot of it, I would say 8 times out of 10 is someone who works at a label behind the blog.
Gotcha.
And not even, I would say 6 out of 10 times, or like 5 out of 5 and 5. Half and half.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes into that it's almost like I'm blanking on the word here, but it's like it's not really it's like an optical illusion almost. Like, and when you talking about the labels being the biggest clients, because now, like how we were saying before, to the dude just scrolling whatever, he don't know nothing from nothing. He just thinking, oh damn, Moneybag, yo, lit. I keep seeing Moneybag, yo, whatever. I'm just using him as an example, but it's like I keep seeing whatever. That kind of goes into how I look at these different industries, whether it's rap industry, whether it's streaming industry, in terms of like it's almost like an illusion. And how it's like the shit that go on behind the scenes almost, and that's how what really is about to move something and make it turn into something. But we're not seeing that. We're just thinking that I'm scrolling and this guy just keeps popping up on my For You page.
It's the oldest marketing strategy in the book. It's propaganda.
Right.
And I learned that back in high school. And for some reason, I felt like when I learned that back in high school, I felt like, damn, there's people corny enough to fall for stuff that people would run on a newspaper or news. And, it always made me think twice about what I saw on the internet or how I looked at things.
Yeah.
And for some reason, some odd reason, after I heard that in history class, and it just stuck with me. And, I never just saw stuff for what it is, and always looked into stuff and, had my own opinion. But propaganda is the oldest shit in the game. They've been using it since military times. With wars, and sometimes it helped them win war. You feel me?
Yeah, it did. It did. A lot of times, but I'm kind of the same way, and that's my man right there. He will tell you and confirm. I don't believe shit. Like if somebody if they talk about this happened, I'm like, nah, no, it didn't. I don't care if it came from on the news. I really don't even believe in the dude. Like any mainstream media, if it come through mainstream media, it's some bullshit. That's just my personal opinion. I would have to. I really argue you on that one. Like we can have a debate about that if you disagree.
I don't disagree.
No, not you. I'm talking about just in general. Anybody, like anybody. I'm open to have
don't.
that discussion because I don't believe none of that shit. But I heard you also say that the whole industry is a finesse. And does that lean into what we're talking about, or were you kind of talking about something different when you were talking about that?
Finesses in what? You know the context?
So I feel like it was on the same topic of the blog shit. I might be misquoting you a little bit, but when you was thinking about like,
I don't think it's so I don't think it's a finesse, but I do think the teacher lasts longer than the student, and you guys can take it how that you feel me?
Yeah, I mean you see that time and time again though.
But it gives people opportunity when they don't have anything around them, and it changes people's lives, and it changed my life. So I'll never talk crazy bad about it as much as other people do because, you know, you put that time and effort in, you're able to control your own narrative.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always been big on. That's why we keep buying pages. That's why we keep curating handles and building relationships with the, you know, the younger crowd and putting them in power of the blogs. Is next generation matters and controlled narrative matters.
I think the biggest thing, because now I want to kind of talk about just a little bit more about content groups, and because how I even met you or was introduced to you or know of you is from a content group. And I think the idea behind it and the original vision for it, of course, it's hard to execute the vision or whatever it be, but I just feel like people have a misconception about what it means to even be a content creator and like what that really entails. Cause it's like, all right, so say you about to do an event, right? Even like the concert, for example, that could be looked at as something that could be a content type of event. But then it's like, no, everybody really just wants to go listen to the music. Like nobody is vlogging, nobody was streaming. I didn't get to go. So, but if I would have been there, you have seen me because everywhere I went that summer, it was IRL. I had my cameraman with me. I had my mics with me. So I was making content every single time. And then it will be like these other people who are here, they're in the Discord, they in the whatever. They're essentially being absorbed into my ecosystem, like into my content. Now they're in my stream as opposed to this is another creator and now we can collab on something. This is just, no, you're going to hop in my camera. And I just think it's a misconception that, I don't know, it seemed like it's glitz and glamour. Like it seemed like it's just like Kai Cenat and oh, we can be Kai Cenat. We can be this. We can be I Show Speed. I can be, but it's like, do you know what it took to get to that point? Like, do you know how many streams it took? Do you know how much work it took? And I was just like, it was a disconnect for me there, seeing like, all right, well, everybody don't want the same thing, I don't think. Well,
listen, the same way I tell an artist, did you market what you were doing? Were you putting it on the blogs? Were you putting it on Clipper pages? The same way there's blog pages for music, it's the same way there's pages for streamers. And there's core pages that have those following. And if you're on those core pages for a certain amount of time and invest in those time, you're gonna get that turnaround.
Yeah.
It's the same, it's about the investment behind it. You know, me and MC argue all the time behind it. And, you know, he might not see eye to eye with me certain times, but, you know, it's, you know, I tell him like, I tell him like it is. There's knowledge and then there's experience.
Yeah.
Or people who are really profitable off internet money. And there's ways that, you know, you guys being in that lane, it's competitive. You guys don't have stuff to really bounce off events like how Atlanta people do and stuff like that in communities. But to build a community, everyone has to be doing stuff individually first.
Yeah.
You can't start a community and everyone start then.
Right.
Because now everyone's only working if the community's together.
Right.
Everyone has to love and have the same genuine amount of effort to put into it. And that's why you guys collide next to each other, because you guys are working simultaneously. It's not just because, you want to be held accountable to have to stream because you're in it. And that's why a lot of people join. But, you know, you got to work twice as hard once you get into there, if not 3 times as hard. And to stand out in groups is even harder too. So you have to make sure you come up with ideas and strategic plans, and it can't just be, you know, I kind of, I don't agree with what you said before when you will go to the Skrilla stuff and they absorb into your ecosystem, right?
Mhm.
They're there in your ecosystem. It's up to you to bring them in,
Right.
regardless of if they're in front of your face or if they watch your screen one time.
Mhm.
It's you turning them into a daily fan that wants to reciprocate your content. So it's a lot of strategic planning, but the same way people didn't know how to do marketing like this back then, the streaming industry is still a little new. There wasn't as many clipping pages, there wasn't as many blog pages. There weren't any blog pages for streaming a couple years ago, and I know that for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, it's something that you really have to dive into and do that homework. And now it's just as competitive as making music. And once everyone gets that understanding that this is not the easy way out, this is probably the hardest way out.
Yeah.
Um, they won't give up.
I just thought I thought it was such a good idea and like a good concept, but then it'd be like, all right, so say now it ain't, and I want to shout them out for consistently having some shit for people to go stream. Like you could consistently having that in of itself is something that could be should be applauded, because it's like otherwise then what was you gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where was you gonna go?
In Jersey putting events together, at least trying to do
Right.
it. And that's kind of why I fuck with MC. Like, he's going above and beyond, not just going in a room. And not saying that that's bad, but not just going in a room. Like, he's trying to bring people together. He's trying to be in a specific niche.
Yep.
But it still requires that marketing aspect, because then if you do all that, as much as you're around the New Jersey people, New Jersey's only so big. You can have a following so many other states, and you got to build it while you're consistent, because then it's like you're just backtracking, and that's double the work.
So where do you see music going, like the music industry going? Where do you see this like digital kind of, I'm not gonna say digital marketing space, but like where do you see kind of your lane and just the business in general, about how you go about finding people, structuring deals with people, getting people, making new relationships? Where do you see that going in the future? And like, where are we trending towards? Are we trending towards like less music industry, more like now it's more about the streamers? Everybody be saying like that's a new beef. Like, where do you see this internet shit going?
I think everyone's optimistic of the streamer shit because it's still new, and there's less people who made mistakes in the streamer world than there is in the music industry. So,
It just looks better
there.
right now.
But music industry, I think, is going into a lane where you have to be authentic, and it's about who you're co-signed around. It's not about, as how good your music is. If you're not in a specific group or a niche like the YTB Fats, the Rob 49s, the Low Shimmies, and then there's, the Moneybag Yos, and, there's different cliques that's to every situation. And, you have to work your way in. You have to, I feel like, other than how it was back then, you have to have a different type of networking ability, because you can't just pay for everything now. It's getting too expensive. Everyone's caught on how, impactful their platforms is, and everyone's using it, and it's getting watered down. The blogs are, still there. They're still useful and they're still powerful, but now it's about how consistent you can be on them and not if you can just get on them.
Got you. All right. What you thinking? 15? All right. Bet. I think we done already tackled a lot. That was kind of I think I went over the most of the things that I had planned on doing. What you listen to? Like, what do you listen to?
I listen to G Herbo, anything motivation.
Okay.
Like anybody who's been through something and is still pushing and has the credibility behind it. And I'm not looking to be tough. I'm looking for, people who want to put on for their family and build a team and that type of motivated music. And right now, the shit that keep me going is the G Herbos, the Kaki Kas, the, shit like that. Like storytelling about, how they came up and where they're at right now. And even at my darkest days, even though, I've been past that threshold, you still, you get humbled sometime in this game. but you have to go back and like my page is down right now. But luckily with all the relationships and networking, uh, I'm not as scared as I was back then when my page was.
Your
4TC is
4TC is down.
Mm-hmm.
So when is it like a post that triggers a guideline? Like
it's a bunch of stuff it could be. I don't want to talk too much if we're gonna post the content.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry about it then.
It's when you got relationships and stuff, and people respect your platform and the work and the amount of time you put into it.
Work.
They want to see you win too. And there's a lot of people who have our back, and we're not by ourselves. We have a team of people, and a little power bank behind us.
All right, well, I hope that should get back up as soon as possible. But I mean, you got like multiple pages. You got the new
New Gen Rap Playlist Daily,
okay,
Rap Intel, Girls Rap. Yeah, but that's the ecosystem we had to build. It's you can't just be happy with one platform. If you want to control the narrative now, you need a bunch of platforms, and to cut out the middleman where people were just selling our platforms to artists and telling them that's marketing. No, we put the real strategic and thought behind their narratives, their headlines, and coach them. Cut out that middleman that's shaving a couple points or dollars off, and give them tangible product back, and not just tell them what to do.
Are you saying that you need multiple to control the narrative because I'm taking this post and
You believe anything you see on one page?
Got you. So if you get something working with y'all, it's going around.
If they got the money for it.
Yeah. Got you. Okay. But that's why it's important to have all these different ones, because ideally you want to be able to get them on all of these different platforms at the same time.
If they have the money, but if they put in enough money on other outlets and platforms that they go trending, or we see something, we post them. But people who don't invest in themselves, we're not going to see them.
Nah, that's smart though. I didn't even really think about that. Like, and then you would think too, because it's like, all right, I'm working. All right, I'm about to get this money together to give it to one blog, and it's like that's not even enough. Like, you know what I mean? That really, when you think about it, that's not enough.
If you want to do a bulk situation and get posts weekly and build your narrative to see what works and what doesn't. But when you have those music videos or those big projects, you got to see that shit everywhere.
No, that's a fact. That's really what ends up working, because then you'd be like, damn, he that on fire to where everybody posting them.
If someone's putting ads behind it and it's got 1 million views, would it make sense if you've never seen it on the internet? You got to follow up on your work on the marketing, or is going to be clear to the naked eye. So when you put $1 million, not $1 million, but 1 million views on a product, you have to match that with the
people got to be talking about it somewhere. Yeah.
If you don't see that, then you're getting called out for fake views, fake likes, and a lot of shit is fluff nowadays. But if you're able to run organically and build that core following, it doesn't got to be millions of people either. That shit'll go.
That's what I kind of a lot of these conversations me and Naps have. This is Naps, by the way. I don't know if we introduced you, but so the because even when you was talking about the groups and kind of everybody being separate and being able to come together, like that's something that we talked about before. What was you just saying right before I just stopped you? Because that was another conversation that we had together, but I just lost it thinking about the other shit.
Yeah,
we was talking about the what were you just saying, bro? You was talking about you was talking about the blogs. You was talking about having the shit to match up
the amount of blogs you need to be posting on.
Yeah, we was talking about that. We was talking about that. I had something.
Yeah, having to pay if the music video went to 1 million views, you have to keep a certain amount of money to make sure it makes sense.
Yeah, that shit ain't coming. That shit ain't coming back. Fuck it, it's whatever. That was. I'm sure it'll come back to me at some point, but that's. We got a lot of game. We got a lot of shit was covered. A lot of topics was covered. I think I hit on everything that I kind of had bullet pointed for you that I wanted to hear from. So once again, bro, just thank you for pulling up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being the first episode of The Frequency. This is something that is going to be a consistent show where I'm consistently bringing in people and having conversations and you know what I'm saying, just instilling value, because I think from there it's like everybody want to rap, everybody want to be an artist now, but none of y'all knew how to do it the right way. None of you knew what was the steps to take, the real shit that you are supposed to do if you really want to see a return. And I think a lot of that just off of that's free game. He didn't even charge y'all for that. So that's like, that's everything right there.
Start there first, bro. Everyone said, and then they take the approach later on. I don't know. I'm just an artist. It's not that you don't know. You didn't care to take the time to learn before you went into the craft. It's not something you do for fun. It's either a hobby or you want to make money off of it. And if you want to make money off of it, there's only, one way to go.
You heard it here first. Matt Management on how to be an artist in 2026. The real steps you need to take. Legit actionable steps with legit actionable results. Time and time again, case study after case study after case study. This is the source right here, bro. Appreciate you for pulling up.
Don't get left, try and get right. Let's get to it. Appreciate you guys for having me, and whatever you guys need, I'm here for it.
Bet, say no more. This is YEAWAVE, and you was tuned into The Frequency.
Let's go.